The time has come to go on a big old road trip in the Tahoe. Hey everybody, I'm Kenny. This is Sagebrush Soul, putting a few final touches on the Tahoe before we do the big trip. Didn't get it completely where I wanted it, but we're definitely close. You can see it's got some different looking tires on it than you might have seen before. That's because the ones that I had before that are hiding in here, I couldn't get them rotated. I could have done it myself. I wound up doing a bunch more work, but they tried to sell me new tires instead. I knew they had at least this trip left in them. One tire was just barely touching the wear bars. I was able to find some on Facebook Marketplace that came off a 2002 Avalanche, and I wanted to do that because they are 17-inch rim. I wanted to go a minimum of 17, and it just was not in the budget to buy new tires and new rims. So when I have to do brakes on it again, I can do the 2007 brakes and get the bigger discs and everything. This is horrible for stopping power, even with brand new brakes all the way around. Also, as I've stated, I want to level it, and I did get the leveling kit. These tires are a little bit bigger. They still have plenty of clearance, no rubbing whatsoever. But I thought I was gonna have to do the leveling kit. I wound up getting that, but before I go on a 3,000 plus mile road trip, I didn't want to take the whole front end apart and get it done, but we'll talk about lift when we do it. I'm gonna take you on that ride with me when we get back. But what are we doing today? I needed a little bit more juice back here to run the fridge and the power supply. This is a little wire that you've seen that plugs into that little outlet and the voltage meter that I've shown you before. I had run this wire. I did it probably at the beginning of the project. I just never hooked it up to anything because it only went to the front. The other day, I went ahead and got it out to the battery. It's not hooked up right now, but then I added 2 more 12-volt outlets, and these are going to run off that. These will still run off the other one because this area is just going to be used for charging. I'll show you how that goes when we start packing, but these are some watertight ones. It's about the only real estate I had. I bought these a long time ago, had them kicking around, so they have these dust covers. That was the biggest reason I didn't want to put anything up here, but it's a pretty clean look. So that is the first thing on the list to do right now. And in case you're wondering, that's when I get back a front end that I got a brace for the mini monster trucks teaser. So this is going to be a little hillbilly. I wanted a little bit healthier wire, just more amperage I think is what it needed, or torque. I don't know how that all works, but that thin wire just wasn't enough to keep the fridge from going into low voltage mode. So hopefully this will remedy that. I know there's a difference between voltage and amperage, but hopefully, again, this is going straight to the battery through that bigger wire. And I'm going to utilize 2 of these. I don't know if this concept works or not. I'm going to wire those in, then put a fuse here, a little bit bigger fuse than I probably should, but everything's fused from there. Obviously, it's fused at the battery, so it should be good. So obviously I need to fuse this thing. I'm going to do it a little unconventionally. So this is 12 gauge, and I want that to go over to that heavier wire that you saw. That's just a big old power supply for stereo wire. I figured it'd be fine for this. So this thing is 12 gauge wire. This is 14 that goes up into here. So these are 18. I couldn't find a plug with any heavier duty wire. What I'm going to do is double these up. I don't know if that works, but I figured the more juice I can get up there, the better, so I'm going to give it every chance. Some of you are probably going, that's not how that works. And you may be right. I may be crazy. And obviously the reason that I want to put the plugs on is so that I can take it out like I did here, as you can see. Had to get that a little too hot, and my shrink tube started to shrink prematurely. We've all been there. Nothing to be ashamed of. Just for extra measures, I'm gonna go ahead and do this. That's a big wire coming in there, so I don't want any chance of it arcing off. It could totally be another inappropriate reference. All right, we got the truck side wired up, and we're gonna start with a, I forgot to grab it, but gonna start with a 5 amp fuse. I think will be plenty. Doesn't matter which one goes where. Those two plug in, and then so those plug in to those. Still reach the fuse. Just got to plug in the other one. This one's a little tougher one-handed. These are the outlet relocators that you might remember from one of the other videos that I'm using to get power when I plug it in. But I didn't film myself painting them, but I will film the super satisfying unmasking. Not high fashion by any means, but you know, I put a little effort into it. Whoa, everything's taking too long. But this is the spare that I did have. Underneath there, you can see it's a little, you know, weather checked, not in really great shape, but because my nephew had an incident with the Tahoe, as evidenced by this, they wound up putting the spare that came with the Tahoe on as the front tire. So you can see this rim is a little jacked up, and interestingly enough, you can see that's the one that why they wouldn't rotate them, because here in a couple of places it's down to the wear bars. But even though I haven't been able to find anything wrong with the front end, I'm wondering if something in there is bent, and that has to do with that wear pattern. But because the rim's already crappy, that is going to be the spare. I'm sure it'll get us to a tire shop just fine if we need it. Some of you noticed that I'm doing that with the wrong tools. It's a good thing I did that, because I just realized I'm missing part of the original tools that would help me change a tire. Now I realize you guys are staring in the sun. You probably didn't notice that. At any rate, I gotta grab a socket, ratchet, and an extension out of my truck to make sure I can change a tire if I need it. Well, I am smack out of time. I got to go back to Skylar and Brittany's house. I got to load in the wash. Really wanted to get to bed early tonight so I could leave early. I was going to leave at 5. Now I'm thinking 6 might be a little bit more realistic. And I do want to show you the new shop really quick. It's quite a bit smaller than the bus shop was, but it's right next to the Buzz factory, which there's a handful of people over there tonight. That's a good sign. But yeah, this general area, the problem is if you saw me working out there, there's no way to actually get a vehicle in here, or I would probably stay here and finish everything. But we're hopefully going to remedy that. But yeah, we managed to fit a lot of the stuff from the old shop in here, except you probably don't see the plasma table, and I miss it dearly, but that's okay. We're just going to go back old school on some stuff. Yeah, this is an old powdered milk factory. If you saw my video about the Buzz factory, this is the same building. But let's go show you what else we got over here. So this is the printing area where that's what we call it. It's actually the pressing area, not depressing, the pressing area. So we got some overflow from the Buzz factory for some of our events and stuff, but it's pretty much empty right now because everything's loaded up, because while I'm doing shows in Van Buren, Joplin, and Fort Smith, they're going to be doing shows in West Jordan and Elko. This area we haven't really got cleaned up, but this is a future golf cart project, and you can see it's a little bit more involved. Got some cylinder work done on it. It's getting new piston rings. This is going to be a future project, but it's top secret, but it's going to be used at our events. We got Maddie's mini bike, and then I don't really want to talk about that. You can see we got golf cart body, mini monster body, trophy truck body, what's left of the trophy truck. But yeah, so that's this area with the ramp here. And so far we haven't, again, figured out how to get a vehicle in, but I think I'm gonna build a ramp that'll get at least the smaller vehicles up here, like the golf carts. That will be a big part of the bus factory, and hopefully be able to get the mini monsters in here. And again, it's not totally organized. I finally got all the stuff cleared from the doors, finding places for everything. Anyway, let's head to Skylar and Brittany's, because me packing seems like a terrible idea for a video, and why not? Well, needless to say, I didn't set up the camera while we were packing. We're on the road now. I got so frustrated with myself with all the shit that I had to get figured out how to stuff in here, and the fact that I hadn't got it organized, and then wound up being 3 hours behind on that, which put me 5 hours behind today. I was gonna leave at 5 a.m. I wound up leaving at 10 a.m. But what I did is I just took a deep breath and realized that I could push it. There was something I wanted to do today. We're not gonna be able to. I'm gonna try to hit it on the way back, but I'm not gonna tease you with something that I'm not gonna do. I'm gonna overnight tonight at Brandon Swick's house. He is the driver of the Geronimo monster truck. And I was gonna sleep just at the shop and plug in the Tahoe and sleep there, but so he's got a really nice guest room. I'm gonna go drink some of Brandon's whiskey tonight, and it's Chris Ledoux distillery stuff, so whiskeys, vodkas, everything. Anyway, I just wanted to show you what we wound up doing on the Tahoe, because I didn't get to it last night. I started telling you about the rims. I can't remember if I told you I did not do what you really should do. I eventually will. These should either be powder coated or done with a good etching primer and 2-part urethane on it. This is just the stuff that you buy, the Duplicolor stuff. We'll see how it holds up. I see a lot of people doing that. In fact, I couldn't find a single video of anybody actually going full tilt on a paint job, but when we get to putting new tires on it and stuff, we'll probably do that. You might have noticed from the thumbnail that the back, these are not on top. Because I'm gonna stay in Brandon's house, I decided to do them. One of them has my clothes, one of them has some cooking stuff and just other things that I needed, some tools. The fridge is working good with my new plugs. You can see that the freezer is at 0, the fridge is at 41. I don't have much in there right now. Got some ice just in case. Got a little bit of food. I didn't quite, those are the things I didn't really get organized, but I'm gonna have to stay organized on this trip in order to pull this off. But you can see that design for the bed, all of my bedding stacks up neatly. The green thing is the mattress, the 2 pillows sneaking out there, and then my sleeping bag. I think I'm gonna be in every extreme on this trip. This area right now is starting to cool off. It's acting like September. They are saying it's cooling off in Arkansas, but I'm sure that the humidity is gonna be a little bit of an issue. You can see I got this, I don't know why. I just love these things. They're replicas. But I got that off Amazon. It's full of water. I got that little survival kit. I got more survival kit right here. Got some gloves down here. These are meds, not, you know, just over-the-counter stuff. And then this is something that I have in all my vehicles now. It's a laser thermometer, or, you know, infrared, whatever it is. They're just handy to check heat on certain things. And then right here is the window coverings. I know I showed you all this before, just kind of, if you haven't gone back and seen the videos, this is what I'm packing with me. And the front seat's not quite organized yet, but this little thing right here, I wound up not bringing the screen room or that camping table, but that is just a folding table that's kind of like a TV tray. And that's one that I use when Vicky's not at the house. I do my editing in the living room in front of the television. But tonight we stay in Laramie. Tomorrow we'll stay in Grand Island, Nebraska with Aaron Basil. And then Kansas is up in the air, but we're gonna be staying in Kansas City. And I got a couple options there, and I'll just let you know when we do it. But this is kind of cool where we stopped. I was looking for a place to stop and film this part of it. Like I say, I'm almost 150 miles into the trip. Sand Springs, so there's a spring here somewhere, but this is super cool. You see a lot of this in Wyoming. If you look right about where the tip of my fingers are, those are actually wagon tracks from all of the traffic on the Oregon Trail that was headed that way. That was a long time ago, and the wagon tracks are still there. I'll give you a screenshot that tells you all about Sand Springs here. Thank you so much for watching. A lot of cool stuff yet to come. Got a lot of stops that we're gonna do in Nebraska. I'm relaxed. Took a good shower before I left. Weather's beautiful. Tahoe air conditioning works so hard that my nipples could probably carve a pretty good princess cut. But I'm Kenny. This is Sagebrush Soul. May the best of your past be the worst of your future.